In terms of Rule 6 of the Rules of Virtual Meetings, the quorum requirement for virtual sittings of the House is provided for in the Constitution and the Standing Rules of the KZN Legislature. Standing Rule 44 of the Standing Rules provides as follows, I quote, "At least 1/3 of all the members of the legislature must be present to constitute a plenary meeting of the legislature," close quote. The rules for virtual meetings also define the word present as follows. Present means the attendance of a member in a virtual meeting by electronic means in a manner that allows the member to join and participate in the meeting. Honourable members and our guests, the Secretary has confirmed that we have the required 1/3 of members present in order to commence with the virtual sitting. The sitting is therefore properly constituted. We will now proceed with the rest of the matters on the order paper. Then the purpose of today's sitting is that at the start of each session, our standing rules provides that the sitting is convened in terms of Standing Rule 9(1)(b), which provides that the Premier will table his State of the Province address on a date so chosen by the Speaker. Now, I will call upon the Honourable Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Sihle Zikalala, to address us. Mr. Premier, sir.
Thank you. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Ms. Ann Boyce, Deputy Speaker, Honourable R. Mthembu, Leader of Government Business, Mrs. Dube Ncube, Honourable Dube Ncube, members of the Executive Council who are with us here, the chairperson of the chairs of all Mtombini, the deputy chair of chairs, chief whip and deputy chief whip, the leader of the official opposition, Bulawayo, and all opposition party leaders. Yes, as well as the Secretary of the Legislature. Honourable Speaker, allow me at this juncture to extend my greetings to Indlunkulu yonke. Had it not been because of the current situation, His Majesty would have been with us together with Abantwana baseNdlunkulu. May I take this opportunity to request that we salute him in the honor and the tradition we know. Wena wendlovu, bayede. We extend our greetings to Indlunkulu yonke. We also wish to extend our greetings to the House of Traditional Leaders in the province, led by Inkosi Chiliza. Members of the NCOP who are with us, Honorable Justice A. Japi, Judge President, the Director General, Dr. Mkhize, the Acting Provincial Commissioner, General Gonya, members of diplomatic corps, heads of department, members of the Planning Commission, the representatives of the business, labor, and religious leaders, distinguished guests, compatriots, ladies and gentlemen. We stand at a stark moment in history. The challenges we face and tough decisions we make will determine the trajectory of our province and of our country and our people. As a nation through the valley of the shadow of death, today we are better armed, knowing that as we work hard to manage the COVID-19 pandemic, we must shift to a higher gear. We must quicken the tempo to lift our physical recovery, our emotional recovery, and very importantly, our economic recovery and create jobs. We are a nation united by our diversity, founded on hope and taught never to despair. Our undisputable leadership in building peace and hope is vested in our King, His Majesty uBhejane Phumesiqiwini. His Majesty has always led from the front in building unity and prosperity in our province. And people of KwaZulu-Natal, we will continue to pray for His Majesty's health and well-being as he goes through this trying time. May God hold uhlanga lomhlabathi in the palm of His hand. Honorable Speaker, we recall as we gather this morning here that 60 years ago, Inkosi Chief Albert Luthuli became the first African to receive the prestigious Nobel Peace Prize in 1961. Concluding the inaugural Albert Luthuli lecture at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in March 2004, former President Thabo Mbeki said, and I quote, "In undying tribute to Albert Luthuli, we must ensure that the tempo quickens even faster than ever before," close quote. The title of the lecture was "The Tempo Quickens," based on the article penned by Inkosi Luthuli describing the acceleration of the struggle in the face of the brute force and racial tyranny in the 50s and 60s. That time is now. We must accelerate change and change for the better. The pandemic has brought the brutality of death into our homes, devastation to the economy, and heightened the crisis of unemployment and inequality in our society. The mobilizing spirit of Inkosi Luthuli reminds us to hail freedom and to urge that the tempo must quicken yet again to advance peace and development in KwaZulu-Natal. Amid the gloom and doom visited upon the globe by the COVID-19, hope springs eternally in our province. Siyafana nomhlanga othi ushawa izikhukhula ubhende ugobe kodwa ungaphuki. Like the reed plant, ours is a nation that is bruised, but we remain unbroken as the COVID-19 storm settles. As we quicken the tempo, we are reminded that it takes heart, tenacity, and vision to move forward. Our State of the Province address coincide with 150th birth anniversary of Umama Charlotte Maxeke and Umafuguzela himself, Dr. John Langalibalele Dube. We stand on the shoulders of the giant because it was Dr. Dube who pioneered nation building and brought hope to the hopeless in the dark days of colonialism. Dr. Dube took bridge building to the loft heights when he established the Ohlange Institute at Inanda, a school which in the march of time has produced leaders of great influence and positive impact in almost all sectors of the society. It is a monumental tribute on the 150th anniversary of John Langalibalele Dube that our province recently unveiled a state-of-the-art school in Lamesi, named after the first president of the ANC Youth League, Mzwakhe Anton Lembede. The Anton Lembede Maths, Science and Technology Academy, it doors on the 15th February 2021. Let's see isikole sokuqala esifana nalesi KwaZulu Natal. Lesi sikole sofundisa abantwana ngescience, mathematics netechnology. Kodwa silele kakhulu ekutheni zonke izifundo zithi ifundiswa at the center kube innovation and leadership. Today we pay tribute to our 32-year-old Ndwedwe born scientist at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, Sihle Zikalala. In December 2020, the COVID-19 variant in a laboratory, giving our country international recognition and acclaimed for his groundbreaking research. The story of the 18-year-old Ajana Bakwandin from Open Air Special School remind us that with support, hard working, and strong will, people will overcome their odds. Ajana finished #1 in the LSEN school in KwaZulu-Natal in matric class of 2020. She is cerebral palsy and she's asthmatic. We want to say, even if you are paraplegic, there is nothing that makes you fail if you are supported. Congratulations to her for achieving 4 A's and 3 B's. She wants to pursue psychology and writing, and we hope to have tea with her soon to see how our government can support her reach and fulfill her dream. In 2021, we must quicken the tempo to unite all our people in diversity, to revive hope in our common future. In 2021, we must remember and remind the children of KwaZulu-Natal that they are proud descendants of heroes and heroines, of innovators, pioneers, and peacemakers who are revered all over the world. When we bid farewell to a former member of this KwaZulu-Natal legislature, Umkhumbu Kunethezeka, Dr. Michelle Kadebe, we were reminded of the importance of peace as a condition for development. In memory of Ubungane, umakhulukhulu, kumele sigcine ukuthula njengento ebalekile KwaZulu-Natal. Sazi ukuthi singaphilisana ndawonye, even emndenini naseyindaweni esihlala kuzo, irrespective ukuthi umuntu nomuntu uvela kiphi i-organization. We also remember with sadness in our hearts other members of this legislature, including Honourable R. Mthembu, Honourable M. Ndobe, Honourable former MEC Begintuli, Honourable N. Changase, and Honourable Simon Fayela, a member of the NCOP, who passed on since we last met. We also remember their worships, the mayors, the councillors, and other government officials who are no longer with us. In their memory, we must look ahead to growing the peace and prosperous society they committed their lives to building. As we hail peace and freedom, KwaZulu-Natal remains alive with endless possibilities. Amazing feats on sporting and entertainment our emotional psyche for a better post-COVID-19. Our provincial rugby team, Sihle Sharks, did us proud by reaching the finals of the Currie Cup against the Bulls of Tshwane. We also take this opportunity to welcome with open arms Siya Kolisi, the Rugby World Cup winning Springbok captain as he joined our provincial franchise, the Sharks. We also congratulate the Istatamia. We congratulate the Istatamia musical group from Durban, the Kolwa brothers, led by Derek Mlambo, who are recently winners of the 64 gold medal at the South African Performing Arts Championship held in Rustenburg in December last year. The Kolwa brothers will now represent KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa in Los Angeles in United States of America. The same championship, Durban-born songwriter McGregor won 10 gold medals. Sihle Zikalala kwiKholwa brothers ngokuqhakambisa iprovince nezwe lethu bakubeke kwimap yomhlaba. We also wish to acknowledge the rise of the two KwaZulu-Natal-born actresses, Thuso Bedu and Nomzamo Mbatha, who have put KwaZulu-Natal on the global map. They featured in the Essence magazine top 20 as Black Hollywood stars to watch out for in 2021. Hammersdale born Nomcebo Zikode and Master KG from Limpopo are taking the world by storm with their hit anthem, Jerusalem, which saw the world dancing the COVID-19 blues away. We also honor the centenary of the founding of the South African Communist Party. Communist Party and the Communists have historically been at the forefront of our revolutionary alliance in the fight against racial tyranny and inequality. We salute their fighting spirit 100 years after that great internationalist spirit was first brought to our shores. Amabomvana sithi halala uma egubha iminyaka eyikhulu. Honourable Speaker, when we look on the year 2020, definitely with all challenges, but we have a reason to celebrate. We are encouraged by the resilience in the economy, especially in auto manufacturing and agriculture. Despite the prevailing economic challenges, we have seen remarkable toughness in these strategic sectors, such as automotive, manufacturing, and agriculture. These sectors continue to be the backbone of the provincial economy and create massive employment. It truly inspires hope that during the difficult period when all other sectors shared jobs, these two sectors didn't share jobs in our province and stood firm to protect and cushion the employees of their industries. Last year, we stated our ambition to support 100,000 job opportunities for jobless youth people, including unemployed graduates. We're pleased that in the midst of COVID-19, we turned devastation into economic opportunity and supported by young black people. We created 137,000 jobs under Sukuma 100,000, surpassing the target. These are young people who have been placed in various departments and in various sectors to answer before they ask. The list can be availed if it is needed. We congratulate all our departments for embracing youth employment with such demonstrable vigor. Let us get into just a hint of this success. One of such recipients of our funding is Gelansin Agri, an agricultural initiative that produces high-value crop using the hydroponic system. This project received 2 million from the KZN Youth Fund program toward the erection of 10 guest house tunnels, water sourcing, and fencing for the 5 hectares of land. The land used for this project is at Dlangubo area under Ward 25 in Umlalazi. The project employs 30 permanent young received. Another highlight is AdNot, a telecommunication company which is 100% black and youth-owned. They received 857,000 rands, the funding from the KZN Youth Fund, and provide internet services in Ugu, Kinkechwayo, and eThekwini. They employ 9 staff. Another flame of hope from this effort is a 22-year-old Sihle Zikalala from Dandi, who now holds a commercial pilot license with a grade 3 instructor as a pilot through a bursary from the Premier's office. Of his humble beginning, Mkhize wrote to us recently saying, as I quote, "Growing up in Esbongile Township in Dandi, it was nearly impossible to imagine myself as a qualified pilot. After finishing matric, I was awarded a bursary by the Premier's office to pursue my dream," close quote. Lona ngumntwana osuka nje lokishini elincane elinganakekile, kodwa namuhla useyipilot, useyokwazi ukuthatha abantu abafly from one city to the other, abathathe from one country to the other. Honourable Speaker, taking a look at socio-economic outlook, there is hope. In preparing for today's address, where we were informed by a rather grim number of people who are unemployed and those already discouraged from seeking employment. These are not mere statistics, but a reflection of a dire socio-economic conditions in which millions of the people find themselves. Results of the quarterly labor force survey, which were released by Stats SA this week, paint a gloomy national picture, with a number of unemployed persons increasing from 6.5 in the third quarter of 2020 to 7.2 million in the fourth quarter. During the same period, the largest unemployment increases were recorded in KwaZulu-Natal, Western Cape, and Gauteng. These figures, however, indicate that the number of jobs created is outshone by a high number of job losses. Thus, our economic recovery should focus strictly on job creation. We also know the impact of COVID-19, not only on humanity, but also on the economy of our country. The world, globally and locally, has faced a number of challenges, and in KwaZulu-Natal, KZN businesses are some in distress. Among the affected companies is the like of Fairmont Zimbali Hotel, Inza, which manufacture ports, the iconic Hilton Hotel, and most recently, Hennes South Africa, which manufacture Playtext, have also filed for voluntary liquidation. Mounting job losses result in declining tax revenue. Government get compelled to prioritize existing resources in order to, among others, support ailing businesses and provide a social safety net to the poor. Reduce revenue impact on government expenditure. However, we will continue to improve on our efficiencies, ensuring that we redirect funds to the delivery of basic services. We will also sharpen government's leadership in the recovery of the provincial economy. For these reasons, the core of this address is unpacking of a provincial economic recovery and transformation plan, the details of which will find expression in further announcements in the coming weeks. Honourable Speaker, in preparation for this SOPA, we reached out and paid attention to communities on what they believe are priorities for our province. We have listened to many suggestions, and we are grateful of many innovative ideas presented. We are also alert to all concerns raised by citizens and are committed to address them in pursuit of building our province together. Siyabonga kakhulu kubantu bakithi ngembono neziphakamiso abazithumelile. Sizizwile futhi siyazihlonipha. Sizokwazi ukuthi ezinye sizikhulume ngazo namuhla, kanti ezinye zizoba ingxenye yezinkulumo ezizothulwa o-MEC ngesikhathi bethula ama-budget for ama-departments. In his 2021 State of the Nation's address on the 11th of February, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa declared this year this as the year for our rebirth and renaissance. SONA identified 4 urgent priorities for our nation, which are defeat the coronavirus pandemic, accelerate economic recovery, implement economic reform to create sustainable jobs and drive inclusive growth, fight corruption and strengthen the state. Taking a cue from this and factoring our own provincial conditions and priorities, the Provincial Executive Council Lekgotla agreed that this year our strict focus and energies will be on the following 5 priorities: intensifying the fight against the coronavirus, reigniting economic restructuring and job creation, build social cohesion, fight crime and corruption, delivering basic services, in particular water, building a capable and ethical developmental state. As we present this address, we call on all people of KwaZulu-Natal to join hands and work toward overturning all present day adversaries for the betterment of our province. This requires that we accelerate implementation of all priorities and resolutely drive and deliver for the better. Hence, the theme of this state of the province is quickening the tempo to economic recovery and job creation. Right from the beginning, as we outline our program, we will wish to start by building the economy and the creation of jobs. Honourable Speaker, honourable members of this House, fellow compatriots of KwaZulu-Natal, we undertake a solemn declaration to spare no effort in the struggle to grow the economy. The focus will be on restructuring the economy to ensure growth and address the imbalances in the ownership pattern and ensure creation of jobs. Sizibekele amatarget amathathu ngokomnotho. Okokuqala ukuthi siwukhulise umnotho. But okwesibili ukuthi umukhulu ungakhuleli ezandleni zabambalwa ababe benefitile ngesikhathi sobandlululo. Kodwa awu-include bonke abantu bakwaZulu-Natal. Okwesithathu, nokubaluleke kakhulu kukhona konke, ukukhanda amathuba emsebenzi. Honourable members, the 2 special economic zones have become levers for industrialization within the province. Dube Trade Port will be implementing an expansive plan over the next 5 years, focused on its core SEZ mandate to drive localization of manufacturing within its own zones, as well as fast-tracking the development of the Durban Electropolis and automotive supply park in the south of Durban. The Durban Electropolis Master Plan has also begun to stimulate private sector investment into the border of this Electropolis region. Cedar Point Trading has begun constructing the Western Business Park on the R102 adjacent to the Dube Trade Port. And this is one of the major developments within this electropolis. The phase 2 has an investment of phase 1 has an investment of 2 billion and is 33 hectares of industrial land. This creates excellent entry investment to the Dube Trade Port and support a wide range of companies entering the electropolis area. The park will be built in 3 phases over a total of 70 hectares. Lento esikhuluma ngayo ayikude ila ngaseCaneland eduze nayo iDube Trade Port and development esiqaliwe ukwakhiwa. Ngokunjalo eningizimu neTheku iDube Trade Port isiqalile ukusebenza ukuthi iautomotive supply park ezolekelela ukuthi ukwazi ukuthi ama parts adingekayo ezimotweni akhiwe lapha KwaZulu Natal. Lokhu kuzosinikezela amathuba emisebenzi acela ku-3,000. Singareporta ukuthi as isteps sokuqala sokwakha le automotive supply park siyafuna ukubonga uTransnet osungenelelile wathi asisheshise le program. Maqede kwaba nezingxoxo ezithi iDurban International Airport, i-airport endala ayibe iphase yokuqala la kuzosetshenzelwa khona and umsebenzi usuyaqala kumanje. Le phase yokuqala iba ne-investment ka 1.5 billion. This initiative will ensure that KwaZulu Natal maintain its competitive position within the automotive industry. The first phase will then be followed by a larger development of the Ilovo site for a wide range of industries. So, asiyeki site le ekhona kodwa siyaqala la kusakhiwa ngali. Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone is also pleased to announce that the construction of the 1.3 billion oil plants by Wilma has started. The project is expected to inject much needed jobs in the King Cetshwayo district. The plant is expected to be completed on the 4th quarter of the year 2022. The Richards Bay IDZ has also appointed the contractor for phase 1 of the 4.5 billion titanium dioxide plant. This phase will be operational in the 4th quarter of 2021, and phase 2 construction will commence in January 2022. So keenly watching the announcement of the preferred bidder of the risk mitigation independent power producer program, which is imminent in the next month or 2, as indicated by His Excellency the President in his 2021 State of the Nation address. Asichaza ukuthi njengoba sasishilo ukuthi Richards Bay sifuna ukuthi iqhubeke nokukhiqiza oil, ikhiqize igas. Le announcement esiyilindile izosilekelela kakhulu ukuthi o-announcwayo njenge-successful bidder meseqala ukwakha lapha eRichards Bay kuzoba i-development enkulu ye-plant engase idle more than 20 billion, and that will create the massive employment and change the landscape of the northern KwaZulu Natal, not only Richards Bay. This year alone, the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone will also launch 2 investor projects expected to commence construction in the 2nd and the 3rd quarter of the year 2021. These will be a plant manufacturing architectural and industrial paints and establishment of soda chlorine chemical production plant. These will have collective value of over 1.1 billion. Last year, as its contribution to impact on localization, the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone will also launch an enterprise development program in the second quarter of this year. This is intended to deepen localization. Siyafuna ukugcizelela leli. Akukho kahle kuthina ukuba nenkampani ezinkulu eziqasha abantu abaningi, siyakubonga siyakunqoma lokho. Kodwa mase iqhubeka emsebenzini eziyenzayo zilanda into eziningi ngaphandle kweSouth Africa. Njengoba zila eSouth Africa, lokho ongakhiqizwa eSouth Africa makhiqizwe eSouth Africa, especially la KwaZulu Natal. Uma kwakhiwa imoto, makhiqizwe imoto azodingeka. Amathuluzi adingekayo izinto ezakhi ihlalo zingakhiqizwa la eSouth Africa. Yingakho ke iRichards Bay IDZ ingene kulolu hlelo lokuthi ibheke inkampani ezikhona mesithi kulezi inkampani ezikhona badinga lokhu nalokhu nalokhu, and as part of import substitution asifuneke abantu bakwaZulu Natal abazosakhela lokho or thrive for import substitution and industrialization in all sectors of the economy. Honourable Speaker, as per our announcement last year regarding our plan to establish a fully fledged clothing and textile special economic zone, we are pleased to report that we have achieved major milestones toward realizing this goal. Firstly, we have completed the development of a business case for the SEZ. Secondly, we have secured a suitable industrial site at Ezakeni to host it. Thirdly, we have nominated Dube Trade Port to be its operator, and most importantly, we have successfully attracted investment worth 780 million from various companies interested to locate within the SEZ. ETIA, which is the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, together with Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal and Uthukela Economic Development Agency, will be presenting the final business case for designation to the Department of Trade and Industry before the end of this year. Clothing and Textile SEZ must not only transform Uthukela district. It is because of that reason that we have taken a decision that there will be a clothing and textile corridor approach. So we don't want to see this SEZ only benefiting people around Uthukela. The corridor approach will leverage comparative advantages of various regions, including Amachuba, Newcastle, Ladysmith, Moy River, Pietermaritzburg, Hammersdale, Durban, East Tebe, Dube Trade Port, especially to ensure that the whole value chain around clothing and textile is explored and it becomes feasible to succeed for investors and our SMMEs. Just ukugcizelela, kubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi le SEZ siyenze ngokusheshsha, especially ngoba siyazi ukuthi ukuthunga nokuproducer izinto zokugqoka yinto edingeka usuku nosuku, but ngaphekwa lokho leyo kukwazi ukukhanda amathuba emsebenzi abe baningi kubantu especially besifazane nentsha. Kubalekileke ukuthi sikupromote lokhu futhi sikwenze ngokusheshsha. Honourable Speaker, as part of revitalization of the township and rural-based industrial parks, the Department of Trade and Industry already completed phase 1 of East Tebe revitalization. This phase included an upgrade of security, infrastructure, fencing, street lighting, and critical electricity requirement. East Tebe's upgrade included the revitalization of the roof, some of which were built in 1971 and were now leaking. The department further approved a budget of 49.9 million for phase 2, which will focus in revitalization also of Isitebe. And this decision was taken in February this year. Phase 2 will deal with engineering design, revitalization of existing road, improving bulk water supply and sewage treatment plant for this industrial effluent control. Honourable members, let me take you into confidence and detail some of the projects that are already being pursued in these SEZ. Coconut is a 50 billion agro-processing facility specializing in healthcare, situated in Dube Trade Port and has created 108 jobs. It's a 75% black women-owned company located in Richards Bay worth 130 million and has created 200 jobs. Ndumo Retail Development is a 100 million investment project which will see the establishment of a shopping center, the taxi rank, and service station. The project is expected to create 400 construction jobs. And this is part of Inkululeko 1 Endumo. Vodacom South Africa has begun the rollout of 5G network in Durban. The 1 billion project is expected to create 500 new jobs. Unitrade, which is located in KwaDukuza, is a 105 million investment that specializes in production of Ford Ranger and VW Amarok components. The project has created 250 jobs, mind you, has created. So we are not talking only about what is coming. We are talking about things that we've done from last year. The Ferrymax Potato Chips company located in Verulam has created 600 jobs. The project investment is worth 380 million. Good Life Food created 100 jobs and the investment value is at 70 million. Heisto in Ilembe in Mandeni invested 900 million and they are creating 3,300 jobs. This is a new investment which came and took over a plant that was being closed as there was disinvestment. They came in. These investment projects will produce a total of 3,435 permanent jobs. Besides this, through the SEZ, we are working on the investment pipeline of 22 billion rands. What are we going to do going forward? The key pillar of our economic reconstruction and recovery plan is centered on enhancing our industrial base. In this year, we will focus on the following: fast-tracking implementation of SEZ project pipelines, incubate clothing and textile SEZ and other industrial hubs, including leather industry, support localization of value chain, revive industrial estate, especially Ezakeni, Matadeni, and Isitebe, and create linkages of these industrial estate with the private sector. Advocate for trade policy change to support localization. Government to commit to buying local and ensure that we procure manufactured goods that are procured in the country. Avail land for industrial development in all municipalities. Export-led industrialization with a dedicated focus in Africa, the SADC region, and Asia. Fast-track regulatory approval to reduce rent goes fast. And these are the focus of this year. Sithi kulo nyaka sizokhuluma kakhulu nomasipala ngonjalo namakhosi ukuthi inkampani eyifuna investment kuma district azingaqakwa ukuthi kulukhuni ukuthola umhlaba. Omasipala mabazi ukuthi ama-industrial lands angaphi bahlale bewazonile so that umuntu mefuna ukuvula inkampani kwidolobha elithize kungathathi iminyaka kukwazi ukuthi ama-processes asheshe. Honourable Speaker, our continent present to grow export given the comparatively low logistics cost. This is a definite comparative advantage. The provincial economic reconstruction and recovery plan focuses at harnessing provincial export capacity to maximize potential from this untapped market, from the implementation of African continent free trade area. And asisho ukuthi iSouth Africa ilele iyasebenza. On the 1st of January this year, abanye babe busy besa celebrate uqala konyaka. Upresident wase South Africa, His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, waye launcha ukusebenza hayi concept ukusebenza kwe-African Continental Free Trade Area iqale ngomhla ka-1 January of this year. The province of KwaZulu-Natal will be launching the KwaZulu-Natal Africa Export Strategy by May 2021. In the meantime, through trade and investment KwaZulu-Natal, under the leadership of ETIA, MEC Pillay, we are working to support export initiatives which will create at least 2,240 jobs. These are the trade and investment KwaZulu-Natal, which is targeting Africa and Asia, on initiatives that will create 400 jobs, and the investment set aside for that will be 100 million. ETIA Exporter Competitiveness Program will sustain 1,500 jobs with an investment of 30 million. Art and Craft Market Access Program will create 70 jobs and the investment is 2 million. Africa Fashion Exchange will create 70 jobs and the investment is 2 million. Honourable Speaker, the global tourism industry is arguably the worst hit by COVID-19 pandemic. A report recently released by South African tourism job lost in the year 2020 are estimated at 40,000 countrywide. Nevertheless, this year we are focusing on implementing our tourism recovery plan, which we put together with our industry partners when the pandemic hit us last year. Masibabonge abaningi abangalahlile ithemba abakule industry ye tourism noma kubenzima kodwa abanye baqhubeka nokubeka ithemba. Siyafuna ukusho ukuthi njengohulumeni sizoqhubeka nokuyisupporta i-tourism. Government has set aside 20 million toward the KZN Tourism Relief Fund, aimed at providing relief to majority black-owned tourism businesses. The fund is modeled along the 2020 National Tourism Relief Fund and will be capped at 50,000 per business. Siyazi ukuthi kunengxaki la abantu bonke befuna ukuhlomula khona, angeke sakwazi ukuthi sinikezele abe munye. But masisho ukuthi siyazi inkampani ezinkulu ezikwi-tourism ziyakhala. We have engaged with national government and ensure that the TESA scheme is expanded to accommodate also tourism, and that is being considered. And we are hopeful that the national minister and the president will be favorable to that request. A strong tourism as well as on women and youth-owned businesses. The projects include the development of tourism precinct at Howick Falls in Mgungundlovu district, improvement at Kwakolo Caves Adventures in Uku district, and the construction of Umtubatuba Tourism Information and SMME Center in Umkanyaguti district. We will continue bidding for future events through the Durban KZN Convention Bureau, and we have secured several events for 2021. At this juncture, we must also commit. There are a number of events that were going to take place last year. They couldn't, but we are committed to work with organizers to ensure that those events are sustained and implemented going forward. With regard to port development and port, an efficient port is a very important asset for any country as it acts as a conduit for global and intra-regional trade. Durban Port and Richards Bay Port remain the most strategic as for the country's economic growth. We are pleased with the progress done on addressing congestion at the Durban Port. Government is currently working on plans to engage and ensure that Durban is a hub port for Southern Hemisphere through doubling the capacity. The plan will include upgrading the infrastructure to ensure port efficiency, ensure modernization including digital operations, expand capacity to accommodate ultra-large containers. Transnet is working to ensure that this is implemented, is working on appointing an international terminal operator to fast-track this process. And the terminal operator will come in at the beginning of 2022 to ensure that the port of Durban is placed at a global level. As the provincial government, we were taken aback by the announcement on the relocation of Transnet headquarters, as there have been prolonged engagement about Transnet relocating to Durban. We are in engagement with the Minister of Public Enterprise, Honourable Minister Kotan, as well as Transnet, to unpack the decision's full implications for our province and the country. The Provincial Executive Council ordinary meeting with Minister of Public Enterprise and Transnet on the 3rd of March to engage on the plans for the development of both Durban and Richards Bay, as well as the announcement they made in this regard. We're not going to be engaging for engagement. We will be looking on this meeting on the plan that is already in action, but now we will be looking on what will be happening and on what time and who will be implementing. So it's not a prolonged engagement anymore, and I must say that myself and MEC Pillay have held a preliminary engagement with the Minister and Transnet to the meeting on next week, Wednesday, to the Executive Council. Compatriots, during 2020-2021 financial year, we completed the fencing of Pietermaritzburg Airport at the value of 11 million and created 25 jobs opportunities. We are now finalizing the expansion of Margate Airport, the terminal building there, and that will be also, it's continuing at a value of 10.3 million and will create 30 jobs. The construction of a terminal building at Umkhuze Airport is progressing at an investment value of 66 million and will create 200 job opportunities on that side. With regard to digital hubs, ICT and innovation, in the upcoming financial year, KwaZulu-Natal will be aggressively implementing broadband connection and digital transformation to enable effective deployment of Fourth Industrial Revolution solution. Targeted areas like public hotspots, taxi ranks, schools, and health facilities will be the cornerstone for the rollout. A total of 20,500 hotspots will be implemented in phases and will be completed by 2024, resulting in an estimated 191 job opportunities to be created. Our focus also will be youth and women in ICT. We will also earmark SMMEs to participate, and in this regard, the target is to ensure the participation of at least 500 SMMEs in this digital space. So labo abathi i-fourth industrial revolution inenkinga, besingacela ukuthi hayi baqole, ba-understand ukuthi uma singayi-embrace i-fourth industrial revolution, kusho ukuthi sizosalela emumva kakhulu. Kumele siqinisekise ukuthi siyaqinisa ezokuxhumana netechnology yonke, kodwa kumele sibheke ukuthi sithi nje singena kukho singangeni ngokwe-network kuphela, asithole namathuba emsebenzi. To date, not less than 142 sites have been connected in Umzinyathi, Pietermaritzburg district through the South Africa Connect program, broken into, as I mentioned, 110 schools have been connected, 13 healthcare centers, 74 other government sites. As we talk, 7 public Wi-Fi hotspots have also been deployed through the Umkungundlovu in Vezokuhle Primary School, Bekizizwe Primary, Umkungundlovu District Municipal Offices, Edendale Gateway Clinic, Umsunduze Library, Umsunduze Taxi Rank, Langalibalele Street. All of these are now connected. The year 2021 will see the commencement of the broadband within Ugu, Ilembe, and Kokstad under Hirikwala district. With regard to the smart cities, as the provincial government, we are working with districts and respective municipalities toward the establishment of coastal smart cities or city regions. And this is Ugu, with Reinkonyeni municipality as an anchor, Ilembe with Kwatukuza as an anchor, and Umhlatuze with Richards Bay as an anchor. In this regard, maybe to put it clear, King Chwayo with Umhlatuze Richards Bay as an anchor in creating the coastal smart cities. Enterprise development remains key, and in support of the provincial government quest to accelerate economic development in the province. To accelerate economic development in the province through establishment of viable, sustainable, and employment creation enterprise. ETIA provided support to small enterprises across priority sectors of the province. Following were achieved within this area of enterprise development. Database was developed indicating operational and non-operational small enterprises. Municipalities were engaged, and a list of buildings and infrastructure considered for use by small enterprises was updated. Itala Development Finance Corporation was directed to provide share facilities for SMMEs that are part of manufacturing in township. As part of this initiative, Itala has secured a facility for women cooperatives involved in chemical manufacturing in Kwamashu Township. Masigcizelele osomabhizinisi abancane baneqhaza elikhulu okudinga balibambe kwakhiweni komnotho. And therefore, sikhulumisana nomasipala ukuthi mabalekelele ngokuthi amabhilidi abo angasetshenziswa. Sibamsana ukuthi siyawaguqula akwazi ukusebenziseka for osomabhizinisi abancane. Yingakho ibhilidi lakwaMashu elethala lizoba yindawo la kusebenzela khona icooperative yomama abakwaMashu, Ntuzuma neNanda bakha ama-chemicals, and lama chemicals akwazi ukulekelela ukuklina ama-toilet nokuklina indawo eziwashwayo. Yingakho ke futhi sithi uma sesibalekelelile labo somabhizinisi abancane asikhande ukuthi babe nemarket ngokuthi thina njengohulumeni sithenge kubona. As we move to radical economic transformation, as KwaZulu-Natal province, we adopted the Operation Vula as an overarching program to drive radical economic transformation. This includes focused sector development, training and incubation, and linking SMMEs and cooperatives with sustainable market. This program has seen us engaging on the following: black industrialists. At least 35 KZN black industrialists have been approved for more than 700 million of grant funding from DTI and creating 4,000 jobs. In the 2021-2022 financial year, we will finalize the KwaZulu-Natal localization framework plan as part of rural and township revitalization strategy to ensure successful implementation of radical economic transformation. The radical agrarian socio-economic transformation is a dedicated intervention which supports small-scale farmers, especially subsistence farmers, through provision of implements, training, and access to market. The program has yielded the following. In the current financial year, 228 farmers benefited from the RASET program, and they were able to sell their produce to the value of 7.3 million, and these are from mainly rural areas. A number of private markets have been secured through RASET program because of its model where produce are aggregated and delivered on time. We are thankful to the following, who are the private sector, but have extended and partnered with us in this program to source from our people: Fairwood, which supply Unilever, Tsoho Sun Hotels, FedEx, Boxer Store, Spa, Massmart, PCK, Fieldcrest, and others that continues to support this initiative. 285 jobs have been facilitated through the program of RASET, and these are listed: Ugu 37, Umkungundlovu 41, Ilembe 55, eThekwini 16, King Cetshwayo 20, Umkhanyakude 77, and Herigwala 39. If you want to break down this, we can give you a breakdown. As we say 77 in Umkhanyakude, we know as a matter of fact that the majority of them are coming from the municipality of Jozini. These are people who were not in business before. They were just planting ngaphandle kwamagceke abo, badle, baphile. Uma bedayisa badayise la eduze nasemholweni, kodwa namuhla sebedayisela oBoxer, sebedayisela itolo ezinkulu. Amalunga alesi sishamthetho asethu umeyolala emahotela ngoba abuya dinga indawo zokulala, adle ukudla okuthengwe kulabantu, especially uma sikulamahotela amanye engiwabalile la. Yileyo nto esiyigqugquzelayo njengohulumeni. In eThekwini, we are starting egg hub at Cottonland Farm and marketing, and the market requiring 80,000 eggs a day have been secured. So sithi abantu basemakhaya abangahlali nje bazi ukuthi inkukhu ngempela sonto sihlabe kanye kuhle lokho. Kodwa ngaphekwa lokho asifuyele ukudayisa amaqanda. Njengohulumeni waKwaZulu Natal imakethe yokudayisa amaqanda angu 80,000 a day isikhona. So in each district yilezinto esikhuluma ngazo masikhuluma nge-radical economic transformation. A poultry hub in Cato Ridge have been secured and rehabilitated. The hub is operated by retrenched labor rainbow chicken employees. We have provided feed, chips, and vaccination. We will support all of these entities that were established when Rainbow Chicken closed. The RASAT program has managed to ensure economic productivity in rural areas. In the coming financial year, we will focus on the following: extend RASAT program and training to accommodate to Tugela, Umkungundlovu, Ugu, and Umzinyathi. Install agro-processing equipment in prioritized district development agencies for cleaning, sorting, grading, packaging, and weighing to enhance value addition. Construct banana ripening and storage facility in Umkanyagude. Pilot enhanced food and energy production project in Umkungundlovu and in Umdoni under Ugu. So sithi abantu bakithi angathi umasebenze bakhiqiza ukudla kuhambe kunjalo. Abantu mabekhiqizile kuprocesswe la mase kuhamba izinto at least seziya kosebenza. Siyafisa ukubonga ukuthi abantu bakithi ababecindezelwe siyazama ukuthi bangene emnothweni. Siwuhulumeni waKwaZulu Natal sethule uxhaso bizwa ngeoperation Vula la sithi sivula khona amathuba omnotho. Lolu xhaso luyischeme esingaphansi kweDepartment ya Tourism and Environmental Affairs. Lumbandakanya ukuthi abantu uma benama proposal bakwazi ukuthi balekelelwe hayi ngokunikwa imali kodwa ngokunikezelwa ukuthengelwa izinto ezobalekelela ukuthi bakwazi ukukhiqiza badayise. Abantu abangu 961 aba-applyile kulolu hlelo uma bahlanganisa izicelo zabo zizonke zizodinga imali engu 304,913. Ngokumanje ingxenye yabo isiqalile ukuthola imishini nezinto zokusebenza kwivalue ka 11.7 million already. Inyanga le esikuyo, inyanga lezoqala kaMarch noApril sizoyisebenzisa ukuthi zonke lezi zicelo zihlaziwe ngokuphelele. NgoJune bonke abantu bebe sebetholile ukuthi bakwazi ukulekeleleka. Ngiyafuna ukuphinda asisoze sanikezela abantu imali kodwa siyokwazi ukunikezela abantu izinto ezobalekelela ukuthi basebenze bakhiqize mase futhi sibalekelela ukubanikezela imarket. Honourable members, preserving environment is quite important. In line with government's plan for a just transition to a low carbon economy, greenhouse gas data for prioritized sectors in KwaZulu-Natal is collected. Over 86,000 hectares of land were rehabilitated through the programs led by ETIA and Ezemvelo. In 2021 and 2022, ETIA will finalize the greenhouse gas inventory for KwaZulu-Natal, which will further improve the province's performance on climate change mitigation and adaptation, as well as the just transition toward a low-carbon economy. In line with the provincial spatial economic development strategy, government is finalizing the review of key district comparative advantages to promote corridor development in the province. Such development will be done in a manner that protects the environment. Let us take to one pillar of our economy. Agriculture, rural development, and food security is one of the key pillars of the economy. As the provincial government, we will continue to support this sector, especially the small-scale farmers, to optimize full potential of the sector. We welcome the announcement by President in the SONA that was signed during the lockdown, and that there is a commitment from large users of sugar to procure at least 80% of their sugar from the local growers. Through the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development in the province is at the advanced stage in the development of agriculture and agro-processing master plan, which is undergoing the alignment with the National Master Plan. The plan advocates for the establishment of prioritized commodity production schemes, which among others include the livestock value chain, horticulture value chain, and the grain value chain. And if we talk about livestock, asikhulumi ngokuthi sithi livestock ezovela kubantu abakumafama amakhulu. Sithi even emakhaya, through a department under the leadership of MEC Mloyi, sifuna ama-livestock associations aqiniswe, anikezelwe support ezokwazi ukuthi baproduce izinto ezodayisa, whether yinkomo, yimbuzi noma zikapa. We are also pleased to report that in the last financial year, the Executive Council directed the Department of Agriculture to develop a plan that will enable the province to develop its seed production capacity. In the coming financial year, the department will fully operationalize the marketing nursery, and 2 new mega nurseries will be built at Sidara and Tandi respectively. These nurseries will produce quality varieties of seedlings for distribution to russet farmers and for household consumption. The department has started producing its own agronomic seeds to be harvested and ready for the next plant. The program targets about 8,580 hectares of maize and 2,100 hectares of beans. With regard to support of graduates who are in agriculture, a total of 280 unemployed graduates have been placed on farms during the current financial year, and the department will also place 340 unemployed graduates in the coming financial year. A further 250 unemployed graduates will be placed in our research stations for the production of agronomic seeds and seedling. We are also pursuing the establishment of 4 agri-hubs in the province, and the department will continue with the implementation of the agri-hubs. Currently, the implementation plan has been finalized, and during 2021-2022 financial year, the department will be focusing on design phase and construction of agri-hubs on the identified suitable sites. Once the agreements have been signed with landowners, the focus will be on development of agri-hubs design in line with the prioritized commodity value chain. Thereafter, the department will embark on a process of sourcing, budget, and also start with all the processes to commence with the construction of these agri-hubs in KwaZulu-Natal. We are focused in supporting sectors within agriculture. We are working on Marula value chain, which The department is partnering with the Traditional Council to operationalize the Marula processing facility near Mangusa. We're equally working on commercialization of goat farming, as we announced in the previous SOPA that we will be working to commercialize goat farming. The department has finalized the development of an improvement goat production strategy, and the purpose of this is to create and maximize a viable goat production system for rural and peri-urban areas. We are in support of livestock value chain, and during 2021-2022 financial year, over 3,400 producers will be supported. Grain value chain in 2021 and 2022, we will support 10,800 producers in this commodity value chain. Honourable Speaker, we cannot talk about growing the economy without focusing on infrastructure development. As part of economic reconstruction and recovery plan, the province will fast-track infrastructure development. In line with this, our government will be spending over 23 billion in the next 3 years, mainly in engineering design, construction of new roads and maintenance of existing road network. More than 9 billion will be spent on maintaining the existing network, and over the next 3 years, through infrastructure project, we plan to create more than 233,000 work opportunities to benefit mainly young people and women-headed families. In the next 3 years, we plan to upgrade 352 kilometers of new roads from gravel to tar, building 26 vehicle bridges to connect communities and 26 pedestrian bridges. These pedestrian bridges will add to the Bailey bridges, which are being built as a separate program, and we will touch that later. We have also directed transport and COGTA to improve the early detection of potholes and develop proactive interventions. We also demand the same plans from the municipalities, especially in eThekwini and Umsunduzi. We have received a lot of complaints, both during the preparation for SOPA, but also in normal period. People have been complaining about potholes through social media and radio stations, and we are attending to that. Priority also need to be given to township roads, as some are in appalling conditions and deteriorated. The Department of Transport, working together with COGTA, as well as municipalities and treasury, must find a workable approach to address the challenge of maintenance of our roads. Through IGULA program, we are intervening to assist young people and women to enter this construction space. 1.9 billion was invested on transport infrastructure program. In our State of the Province address last year, we directed the department to continue with the implementation of IGULA as part of Radical Economic Transformation Program. We are pleased to report today that all the work tendered by department had the compulsory 35% of local content, which was valued at more than 107 million. As part of COVID-19 recovery plan, we have instructed the department to set clear and tangible deliverable targets. In terms of the Bailey bridges, we said this program will see the South African National Defence Force assisting with the construction of 14 bridges across the province. To date, Department of Transport has transferred 110 million to the Department of Public Works nationally to ensure that the SANDF is resourced to implement this program. We are pleased to report that one of those bridges in Umshwati is now completed, and 5 more will be completed in March this year. There are other 14 bridges that will be built. We know that the development of roads, especially the national roads, is key. Last year, we announced a massive investment by SANRAL for the upgrade of N3 and N2 in the province. The first phase of upgrade between Linfield Park and Cato Ridge has been awarded, and work is expected to commence in March. This will create a number of jobs, and we expect that 11,000 jobs will be created over the next 8 to 10 year program period. More than 9 billion of the 30 billion value of project will also go to emerging contractors and SMMEs. On this note, let me take the opportunity and emphasize this. Isiphatha kabi into yabantu abasuka bavale ukusebenza kahulumeni nama project. Kungaba ukuthuthwa kadoti eThekwini, kungaba ukwakhiwa kwezakhiwo ezinkulu. Isiphatha kabi kakhulu lento yabantu bama forums abahambe bevimba. And ingakho sithi amaphoyisa kuzomele angabi nomusa kulaba bantu. Kumele sibe firm kuzo zonke indawo. Sikusho lokhu ngoba even ama national entities asekuvumile ukuthi umeza kwi-province azosetha aside i-amount ethize ezokwazi ukulekelela ama-SMMEs. And in this case, SANRAL is projecting 9 billion of the entire 30 billion to go to SMMEs. Into ababuhlungu ngalezinto ukuthi labantu abavimbayo ukusebenza abafuni umsebenzi kodwa bafuna ukunikwa imali. Esingakwazi ukwenza njengohulumeni uqeqesha abantu sibanike ithuba lokwenza imisebenzi, kodwa ngeke sivumelane nabantu abazohambe beqhwaga abantu befuna imali bebe bengasebenzile. Equally, the first phase of N2 contract are at the advanced stage to be awarded, and work will commence soon between KwaMashu and Umdluli. The public transport is quite key. To improve the public transport system, government took a bold step of hosting the national taxi Lehutla. The planning emanating from the resolutions seek to eliminate violence, improve regulations and enforcement, illegal collection of money, improve driver skills and training, professionalize the management and the running of taxi association, and end gender-based violence in the public transport. Let us take this opportunity to commend the work done by the late MEC Ntuli. KwaZulu-Natal was the only province that went to this national summit with its own submission in a form of detailed resolutions. We are deeply disturbed by incidents of violence and bloodshed that continues to engulf the area operated by Ndwedwe and Umzinyathi District Taxi Association. Umzinyathi as under Ndwedwe and eThekwini. The area remains a challenge in government's effort of stabilizing the now relatively peaceful taxi industry. Most worrying is the shooting of taxis with commuters, and this is unacceptable. We instructed the department to work with the police and all relevant role players to bring stability in the area. And we will sooner be engaging with these and ensure that there are negotiations to address their problems. Road safety remains a challenge that needs all of us. We are all affected in one way or another by the rise of fatalities on our roads. We thank the relentless effort aimed at reducing road carnage on our provincial roads made by the late MEC Begintuli, who passed away in January. The late MEC has been in the forefront, traveling the length and breadth of the province, rolling out programs and efforts to reduce road fatalities. With regard to public works and infrastructure development, you will recall, honourable members, that the Department of Public Works is the implementing agent of choice for state-led infrastructure development in the province. In 2020-2021, the department completed 151 capital projects in 9 district municipalities and 1 metro at the cost of 694 million. Public Works also has over 422 infrastructure programs which are currently under construction, amounting to 3.6 billion. The KwaZulu-Natal Strategic Infrastructure Development Agency is at a final stage. Its governance structure is being concluded with relevant stakeholders or relevant agencies. And in this regard, we want to ensure that all designs and architectural work is done internally, and we only outsource maybe construction, and also we continue to improve our capacity even on construction. At the same breath as the provincial government, we are steaming ahead with the construction of the provincial government precinct, which will be one of the prominent infrastructure development aimed at re-energizing the construction sector post-COVID-19. The conceptual plans and designs have been finalized, and the department is now working on the implementation framework. Equally, the master plan for infrastructure in KwaZulu-Natal as a whole is being finalized. And this master plan is centered on the district development model, and it will help us to ensure that we budget accordingly and ensure development of infrastructure in all districts without investing in one district at the expense of the other. Transformation in the property sector is ongoing, and we are very supportive to the bold decisions to ensure that this sector, which is dominated in particular by those who benefited during the era of oppression and apartheid, is transformed. The demographic profile of those beneficiaries remain a great concern and will require far greater effort to demonstrate the imperatives of radical economic transformation. In this regard, the department has developed and is fully implementing the revised transformation policy in the property sector. The MEC for Human Settlement and Public Works, MEC Nkonyeni, will detail the plan during her budget speech. We know of the challenge facing service providers who have not been paid within the Department of Public Works, and those that take more than 30 days to be paid. And we have instructed the department to ensure that they comply with a policy of 30-day payment, and that should be done. Extended public works is one area of focus that mitigate poverty and assist us in mitigating the high level of unemployment. Public Works is responsible for the overall provincial coordination of EPWP. During the pandemic, over 60,000 new entries were mobilized to provide critical services like screening and monitoring at school. While EPWP provide access to just opportunities, far greater investment is necessary in ensuring that these beneficiaries are able to receive credible trainings in critical skills so that they will be absorbed. The impact of COVID-19 and pre-existing economic situation has impacted negatively, especially to low-skilled workers. To mitigate this plight, we will mainstream all mass employment opportunities, repurpose it to ensure effectiveness. This will include the VRRM and Zibambele. The purpose will be to ensure that more allocation goes to beneficiaries and less is spent on management and facilitation. But we must take the opportunity to caution. Akubi kuhle ukuthi uma sivulela amathuba for abantu bakithi abasemakhaya. Bethi befika nje ekseni. Bengakaqali ngisho ukusebenza sebeqala ngelunch eba more than i-hour. Lamathuba emancane enjalo. Makwamsane nokuthi abantu bakithi nabo bawabamba ngendlela efanele ze phela uhulumeni ayithole encourage ukuqhubeka nalamathuba. Honourable members, without getting into detail, but KwaZulu-Natal has prioritized catalytic housing developments. These are JBC Housing Development, which is located in Newcastle, in Matadeni, Blaaubosch, and Osizweni precinct. The project identified 2,518 as phase 1 and 7,500 as phase 2 and phase 3, where housing subsidy options are being considered. And the budget here for this incoming year will be 1.7 million. So we are working hard to ensure that all of these projects are being implemented. In Mpangeni Mega Housing Project in Umhlathuze will be prioritized, and here an amount of 144 million is budgeted for phase 2 for installation of internal civil engineering bulk infrastructure, and we expect the municipality to further contribute 86 million toward installation of electricity infrastructure. All sites on phase 1 have been serviced, and the construction of houses is commencing. We are also going to support the bulk infrastructure. Aquadin project in Umhlathuze, this is located within Ward 26 of Umhlathuze and will produce 2,400 housing opportunities. The amount that is being budgeted here is 14.2 million for the incoming financial year. An amount of 1 million have been budgeted for internal bulk infrastructure already in the previous year. Nkaku Road project in eThekwini is an informal settlement upgrade project located in Ward 90. The project was initiated to address issues related to the backlog of people residing in the transit camps of Ispingo. The project will provide housing to 360 beneficiaries, all living within the transit camp lapha Espingo. Masisho ohleni iplan ephelele yokuqeda ngama transit camps KwaZulu-Natal. Le transit camp yasespingo ngeyokuqala esisoyenza kulonyaka ukuthi imndeni engu 360 iphume kuma transit camps iyongena ezindlini zangempela. Sizoqhubeka nalolu hlelo ukuya phambili. Ngokwe infrastructure development, infrastructure iseqhulwini kwi program yethu ye recovery, and therefore on the infrastructure development will be the following: upgrading existing industrial sites with clear standards for quality and cost services, addressing congestion around the ports, establishing and upgrading retail, office, and light industries and light industrial sites in and around townships and informal settlements, upgrading informal settlements and township municipal services, as well as providing new houses. To make manufacturing more effective and competitive, rail investment should center on improving container facilities and servicing and securing affordable tariffs. And in this regard, we want to see more goods moved from roads to rail. Innovative technology should be explored to expand access to broadband facilities with explicit targeting urban areas and rural areas. Honourable MECs, as well as members of this legislature, the province is seized with issues of governance and improving the systems of effective service delivery. These include efforts to harness intergovernmental relations and strengthen public participation. In the province, we are forging ahead with the implementation of the district development model, which was launched in this province in October 2019. On the ground and centered around municipal district, the new model is already enhancing intergovernmental relations to achieve integrated planning, budgeting, and implementation among the three spheres of government. It also helping to intensify the Operation Sukumasake approach, which ensures that citizens are heard, listened to, and their needs are addressed. Currently, 11 municipalities that are under Section 139B. These include various municipalities which we have listed here, and the MEC for Kokta, MEC Hlomuka, will get into details on plans we are ensuring and putting in place to support each of municipalities. Safe to say, we are inspired by the improvement we see in Richmond as reported by MEC Hlomuka. For the needs of municipalities displaying consistent instability, we have established the Service Delivery War Room as a measure to strengthen our Section 154 oversight role over municipalities. We have similarly deployed financial experts to targeted municipalities to ensure sound financial management and improved audit outcomes. We're deeply concerned with the slow progress in Umsunduze local municipality. While there has been progress on political and administrative, the progress has been very slow and not felt in the pressing issues such as provision of electricity and other services. The Premier will lead a team composed of MEC Kokta, MEC for Finance, and MEC Champion to work with the municipality to address long persistent decay. This will include allocating a strong technical team and fastening the implementation. We will restore the city of choice to its former glory. With regard to water master plan, water remains a key priority of the 6th administration. Investment in water infrastructure and diversification of water resources is becoming an increasing important factor in building our economy and restoring people. To establish the state of water provision in all municipalities and all wards as the province, we developed a KwaZulu-Natal comprehensive provincial. Its implementation has already commenced. To this end, we have stepped up emergency water provision by way of boreholes and static tank in targeted areas within the province. We were privileged to join the Minister of Water and Sanitation in November 2020 in handing over Umshwati Bulk Water Scheme with the cost of no less than 500 million. As part of our long-term strategy and response, major projects have been planned by government to meet the water needs for the province. These include Lower Umkomazi Bulk Water Scheme, led by Umngeni, which will be completed in 2023. ake ngithi nje qu emuva konothe nini emsunduze sizokwenza emsunduze ngoMarch sobe sesiqalile kodwa bengilindela ukuthi umhlobo wami phela ilungu elihloniphekileyo ngoba liphahlukile lathi nini njengoba sesisho nje ukuthi umkhomazi water scheme uzophela ngo2023 nala lishaya ihlombe Gcwabeni project will be completed by 2022 and the value of that is 1 billion. Stephen Dlamini Dam in Rikwala, the project cost is 1 billion and will be completed by 2023. Umkomazi water project, once completed and developed, phase 1 and phase 2, will be the largest water transfer scheme in South Africa, and that will be at the estimate of 23 billion. At the same time, COGTA is working with district in ensuring that bulk schemes are provided to ensure that people get water. We want to emphasize our concern about persistent water interruption, which is caused mainly by people as well as business operations. And we are not going to take this lightly. We will also want to ensure that we focus on maintenance. Treasury and COGTA will enforce the provision that at least 8% of municipal budget is spent on maintenance. Honourable members, we are in the process of developing a support program for local. We have already started supporting water delimitation process, and all other consultative processes are being supported by the Department of COGTA. The strategy is already underway and involves direct engagement with political parties on issues of intra-party conflict. We must commend the work spearheaded by late MEC Ntuli of the Provincial Multi-Party Intervention Committee. The plan includes setting up of a multidisciplinary enforcement task team that will proactively detect and attend to areas of potential threat. The plan further spells out the support on mass election monitoring, especially through the use of volunteers, officials, and volunteer lawyers. We are going to continue working and investing in the health of the people of KwaZulu-Natal. We once again wish to express our solidarity with all South Africans who have felt the brunt and the devastation of COVID-19. We extend once more our gratitude to our frontline healthcare workers who continue to risk their lives to save our people. At this juncture, allow me, Honourable Speaker, to request honourable members to spend at least 5 seconds clapping hands and thanking our healthcare workers who are dedicated in combating this deadly disease. We thank you. We thank our doctors, nurses. We thank our general workers in hospitals. We also thank the police, social workers, all of those who are part of assisting us in the fight against COVID-19. As of the 23rd February 2021, KwaZulu-Natal had a total of 327,760 positive cases identified. Recoveries are 309,1113. Sadly, deaths are 9,500. 549. In the second wave, the province has seen a decline in numbers from the 6,000 to about 7-day average of 375. We still wish to encourage our citizens to reduce the pressure on the healthcare sector by following the non-pharmaceutical measures. We call on leaders in all avenues of life to lead by example and help our nation fight the deadly disease, but also to deal with the myth and disinformation campaign about COVID-19, 5G technology, and vaccines. We should all play our part to help our country and the province achieve population immunity through both non-pharmaceutical way and the use of vaccines. To meet the urgent need for COVID-19 beds, the province commissioned 3 field hospitals: Clearwood neThekwini, General Gizenga, Mpanza at Ilembe, and Ngwelezane at King Cetshwayo. Those provided us with 226,113 beds in the province. Public Works also undertook extensive addition at existing hospitals such as 22 million at Claywood, 84 million in Wentworth, 270 at King Dinizulu. We must commend the work done by the Department of Health. At this moment, let me emphatically underline, throughout the COVID-19 pandemic period, we never got swamped, nor we were unable to cope. Asikho isikhathi la KwaZulu Natal la isithe asinayo imbhede eyibhedlela. Kwenzeka kwi-private sector nayo sayilekelela ngokwakha isystem yokureporta ndawonye ukuze umuntu athi umeye public hospital wangawuthola umbhede adluliselwe kwi-public hospital eseduze. Noma lokhu kwaku ama-message nje direct, kodwa ngibonga ukuthi i-leadership from the opposition, mainly i-DA and to a certain extent ne-IFP, bawubonga uhulumeni waKwaZulu Natal specifically ngendlela abaresponda ngayo kwi-COVID-19. Ngikusho lokhu ngingabheke politiki, kodwa la kubanjisenwe khona siyaphumelela. But equally, we must thank political leaders, the religious leaders, the traditional leaders, ngokuthi sonke ngesikhathi sobunzima sikuyekile ukuhlukana kwembono sabhekana nobunzima direct. Siyafisa ukubonga kulokho. With regard to vaccine, our vaccine rollout program is progressing well. At least 33,319 people have already registered for the first phase of vaccine rollout. Most of our healthcare workers have reported a renewed sense of positivity and feeling more protected. The province received 10,800 vaccines in the first phase and have vaccinated a total of 7,337 healthcare workers in both Chief Albert Luthuli Hospital and Prince Mshiyeni Hospital. Although we say COVID-19 does not discriminate, we also know our fault lines and exacerbated social inequality. It is clear that the poorest of the poor are more vulnerable to an inadequate, unhealthy healthcare system. The ANC-led government remain committed to universal access to healthcare that is being implemented through the National Health Insurance. We can report that we are in the last year of phase 2 of the NHI implementation plan. Phase 3 will commence in 2022. In Phase 1 and Phase 2, we saw a massive investment in infrastructure, human resource, health system, and human development. For this financial year, the focus of our province will be improving the clinical governance and compliance system, establishing a properly resourced healthcare compliance and accreditation unit, strengthening engineering and systems. We want to take this opportunity to report to the people of the province that the Dr. Pilsika Isaka Seme Memorial Hospital is ready for opening. The 500-bed hospital will provide regional services to our communities in Inanda, Ntuzuma, and Kwamashu, as well as Phoenix area. The hospital is at 98% practical completion rate and will be operationalized not later than June 2021. The commissioning of the hospital, equipment and human resource is in process, as the department is now working on filling the organizational structure with the post of about 1,518. So the process now is at about staffing and finalize that. In readiness for the implementation of NHI, the provincial government resolved that every district in KwaZulu-Natal will have at least one district or regional hospital. And that is a major move to ensure access to healthcare. Access to education and skills. We extend our hearty congratulations to the 2020 matric class who, under extraordinary difficult circumstances, achieved the impressive 77.6 pass rate. We are very proud for all our top achievers and every learner who went through difficult nightmare to ensure that they better qualify themselves in this education system. We also want to salute our teachers, principals, and SGPs for this phenomenal success. KwaZulu-Natal education system is now the largest in the country in terms of numbers. As well, we also are grateful that just from the previous year to 2020, we managed to accommodate more than 15,000 learners, extra learners, and that took us to have more than 135,000 matric exam candidates, and that has never happened before. This confirms that KwaZulu-Natal has almost achieved universal access to education. We are now focusing on bettering the system so that it's a quality education. The modern economy requires sound minds and healthy nutrition, which is a routine for healthy and successful nation. The school nutrition program provides for more than 2.4 million students in about 5,460 schools in KwaZulu-Natal, and the investment is about 1.8 billion to support this scheme. We must continue to strengthen foundation phase and improve grade R educational outcome. KwaZulu-Natal has achieved universal access to grade R and to grade 1. We will continue with the work in supporting this phase. 60 foundation phase schools supported by the province are piloting coding and robotics in grade R to grade 3. deliver quality and relevant basic education, we have adopted 3 pathways approach, which is academic, technical vocational, and technical occupational streams. Among these will be an agricultural school of excellence in Umgungundlovu district, a maritime school of excellence, and a school of autism. The agricultural school of excellence and maritime are some of the focus schools that will be opened this year. By 2022, 4 new schools in KZN will implement the teaching of technical occupational subject, which we piloted from 2020. This year we'll see a further 6 schools in the province piloting the technical occupational subject as part of introduction of the 3rd stream. As we move toward the 4th industrial revolution, more than 200 schools will be taking coding and robotics as part of the curriculum in grade 8 and grade 9. Our schools must also teach entrepreneurship. Having piloted this program in King Cetshwayo, we are now in 2021 are about to upscale this to include more districts. We will continue to accelerate the renovation of number of schools and intensify the eradication of peddler trees. On issues of community safety and liaison, after years of conflict, violence, and brutality, South Africa has not completely discarded its violent and traumatic past. Today, what may start as an argument or disagreement between friends or siblings can end up in a cold-blooded murder. Even more heartbreaking is the violence experienced by women and girls, often from men they know and trust. Many of these crimes take place in homes, in our bedrooms, and tragically, even in places of worship these days. We call on the people of KwaZulu-Natal to reflect deeply on crime and to play their part in reducing and fighting crime. Do not keep quiet if you know who is planning to ban truck or do wrong things. Don't buy stolen goods or bribe police officers. Only us can put an end to the shame that have made Inanda, Umlazi, and Percy Slayer to be notorious for violent crime, including rape and murder. We reject those who want to tarnish radical economic transformation by behaving illegal and sabotaging our economy. We are deeply concerned that the recent rise in the matter of traditional leaders, these affect Amakhosi and Izinduna. We condemn this in strongest terms, and we will be working with all relevant structures to deal with this. We also are establishing an interdepartmental task team made up of senior officials from Premier's Office, COGTA, and Treasury to process all matters affecting Amakhosi and Izinduna. We are going to intensify monitoring, policing in all areas. This contributes to the rise of crime because policing is not so effective in number of areas. The operations Yahlola in the Premier's Office, working with community safety and liaison, will dedicate a special focus on policing. Furthermore, there are focus strategies to closely monitor and evaluate police stations, especially the top 20 high crime police stations in the province. The effort to strengthen the work of the police will include conducting police station satisfaction survey to solicit specific areas of concern from community. The survey will include victim satisfaction survey that focus on specifically experiences of victims by police members. On building social cohesion through social development, Our program demonstrates that we are moving solidly away from being a social welfare state to one which is in line with global best practice, which is focused squarely on socio-economic development. Social development approach prescribe feasible economic policy solution to socio-economic problems which emanate from triple challenges: poverty, unemployment, and inequality. Over the coming year, we will roll out programs in sports, art, education, and social development departments. These will focus on social stability, promote talent, and further create economic opportunities for jobs and entrepreneurship. As part of Sustainable Livelihood Program, work packages have been developed which are driven at local government level by delivery MOUs signed with district development agencies. Siyacela bakwethu, masibahloniphe abantu besifazane. Futhi, masihloniphe bonke abantu nabantu abaphila nokukhubazeka. Masazi ukuthi abantu abaphila nokukhubazeka, abantu abakhubazekile rather, abantu abaphila nebala elimhlophe, ogogo nomkhulu, bayingxenye yethu. Masibanakekele, sibavikele ngazo zonke izikhathi. Honourable Speaker, gender-based violence remains one of the worst scars in our society. Gender-based violence remains second pandemic after COVID-19, with greatest threat to the building of united, prosperous, and non-sexist, non-racial, and equal society. This year, through the Department of Social Development, we will be unveiling more Kuseleka one-stop and white door centers of hope for victims of gender-based violence. This is part of the Sihle program, which consists of prevention, awareness, care and support to victims, strengthening judiciary, and support programs which empower women. These centers are in every district and local municipality, with 2 new sites having been identified in Ugu and Richards Bay as being suitable for the establishment of shelters for the abused women. We have deliberately focused on Umzumbe local municipality. We met last year of 4 women in Umthwalume in what was suspected to be the work of a serial killer. Phoyisa wenza, but kusiphatha kabi ukuthi umsolwa akazange akwazi ukuthetha icala ngoba ayibulala. Kodwa noma kunjalo, sithi kumele ukusebenza kwengalo yomthetho kuqine kule ndaba. Furthermore, the construction of 2 treatment centers by the Department of Social Development in Ilembe and Ugu district is in the planning phase, having been stopped due to COVID-19. As part of the socio-economic empowerment, a total of 15,886 vulnerable women receive sewing, childcare, and cooking skills. The program will intensify these, the province will intensify these programs, targeting more women and youth who are vulnerable. While these schemes will be extended to reach more people and more households, the aim is to intensify sustainable livelihood and reduce dependency on the state through programs aligned to Operation Vula. Honourable members, part of the plan to improve community police relations include the deployment of 1,225 social crime volunteers as part of EPWP across. We have noted the cry from social workers who are employed as part of fighting the gender-based violence. One of them wrote to us as we prepare for SOPA. The MEC for Social Development, Honourable Khoza, will address this matter in a budget vote in the coming weeks. But let us say it clearly. To these social workers, please know that we are grateful of your work and contribution so far. Nisilekelele kakhulu ukulwa ne-gender-based violence. Celebrating ourselves through art and culture as part of heritage program, the gravesite of our hero and the giant of the struggle for liberation was declared a national heritage site. This went through a series, but it also included his wife, Elta, and the daughter, Lulu Gwala. To promote reading and educational department, the department is planning to hand over sites for the construction of the following libraries: Shayamoya, Kwamtakane, Umzumbe, Ngutu, Umvoti Ward 12, Nasembali. Siyagqugquzela abantwana mabafunde besakhula ze bakwazi ukuba ingxenye yesizwe. We will continue to promote the culture of writing and archiving the history of our province. The program of one township, one book, one village, one book was disrupted by the sudden shift that compelled us to dedicate all effort to curb COVID-19 and will be prioritized this year. Again, in the coming financial year, we will expedite and complete the merger of the Department of Art and Culture and Sports and Recreation in sports as a tool for social transformation, but also for economic opportunity. COVID-19, sports will be crucial in resuscitating the public mood, social cohesion, rebuilding confidence in our nation-building agenda, and drive. It will be recalled that sport was devastated by this pandemic as mass activities had to plan. Major events were cancelled, including the World Football Summit, Comrade Marathon, Dundee July, the Premier's Cup, the National Sports Award, and other games. We have noted that the Comrades Marathon Association has also cancelled the 2021 race due to uncertainty caused by the pandemic, but indirectly depriving myself an opportunity to participate for the first time in the Comrade Marathon. The MEC responsible will outline in the budget vote what assistance is available for our artists in this regard. However, we're grateful to the initiative taken by the department to initiate provincial relief fund to assist our athletes, coaches, technical personnel, sport federations, recreational entities, and the fitness industry. The department allocated to about 738 beneficiaries 4.7 million that have been paid to date. And the department is commencing with processing other 40 appeals. The department will continue to work with the industry stakeholders and the partners to ensure that this sector is resuscitated and to ensure that innovation is embraced. One of the initiatives to support the economic participation of SMMEs is the direct procurement of sports apparels from SMMEs and cooperatives by the department, which will be done in the year 2021 and 2022. There will be support for the traditional horse racing, commonly known as Umtelepelo. The Dundee July and Hirigwala Summer Cup will also be resuscitated next year. We are also contributing we know that this sector contributes more than 20 million to the local economy. As part of embracing the digital world, government will launch full equipped containers with gaming consoles to sites across the province, with youth being trained as entrepreneurs. Last year, we were excited to receive the affirmation that Durban will, for the first time in the Africa's history, host the World Table Tennis Championship in 2020. With regard to ward-based interventions, the department will employ sport legends and ex-professional players to assist in the implementation of sport development at ward levels and in schools. Working with school sport coordinators and healthy lifestyle coordinators, the department will support one ward, one club system and ensure sustainability of identified and supported. This will feed into the provincial academy system that will provide high-performance athletes in KwaZulu-Natal. Honourable Speaker, in addressing the subject matter of good governance, ethical and a capable state guided by the wise word of Amika Cabral when he said, and I quote, "Always bear in mind that people are not fighting for ideas, for things in anyone's hating to win material benefit, to live better and in peace, to see their lives go forward, to guarantee the future of their children," close quote. A capable and ethical state remains a strategic and a key agent of transforming the lives of our people. For this to materialize to part of DNA of each and every public service official. Good governance is the key to quality and sustainable service delivery. It is against this background that in the period under review, we have adopted the KwaZulu-Natal Framework for Consequence Management. For the first time, we have developed a practical instrument that will serve as a remedy to curb fraud, corruption, and mismanagement of public resources. Under this framework, we will expedite and finalize cases of corruption, fraud within the set time frame, ensure protection of investigating and presiding officers against undue threat or any form of victimization. The framework also prescribes that recommendations and findings by investigating unit should be implemented within 30 days of their release. Long-pending cases of fraud and corruption will be finalized within 30 days. The framework will be linked to performance agreements, assessment, and reward in respect of all public servants in the province. The full consequence management framework to promote good governance, build an ethical and capable state is available for public to hold us accountable. In the fight against corruption, we will continue to spearhead I do right even when nobody is watching. We are united in every and all persons charged with handling public resources are held to the highest ethical standard. It is against this backdrop that we have acted decisively when incidents of fraud, maladministration, and corruption have been reported. KwaZulu-Natal is the first province to go public and become transparent about our expenditure of the PPE procurement. We disclose who benefited, how much, and the ownership of those companies. Our forensic reports, where wrongdoing was reported, were expedited and actions were taken by relevant MECs in the departments. We will continue with the commitment of hiding nothing away from the masses, telling no lies and claiming no easy victories. We are going to be firm. All cases that were investigated are publicly known either through Hawks or through ourselves, updating the public on the progress in each and every case. We will intensify the I Do Right campaign even if nobody is watching. We are driving this message that corruption must be stopped at all costs, and that KZN must be the leader in demonstrating a zero-tolerance attitude against corruption in the public service. Operation Sihle. We are committed to strengthen the performance of the state by ensuring that we not only enhance good governance, but also ensure quality services. We have commenced with the Premier's Sihle monitoring program. We are pleased that through Sihle program, the challenge of wire walls houses in Kwapata outside Pietermaritzburg has been resolved. Sihle, emveni kokuthi abantu bakwapata basitshena bathi since 2010 bakhishwa kwathiwa bahlale ey'ndaweni zesikhashana, kwaqala ukwakhiwa kwezindlu kwama. Bathe uma besitshena lokho ngo-2019 salalela. Njengamanje more than 500 houses ziqediwe, abantu sebehlala kuzo. We will intensify this Sihle program in order to ensure that government policies are changing the lives of our people. We have also learned that it is not only corruption that affects service delivery, but also planning is important. When we visited Woodland here in Pietermaritzburg, we witnessed first-hand high level of discontent by beneficiaries, where, regretfully, houses were built in an area that is not environmentally conducive for housing. And that was left in between. And we have taken a firm view that those who did that must be held accountable. We also visited farming communities to respond to the plight of farm workers. The situation in farming communities is deeply distressing. As government, we will continue to pursue the route of building sustainable and peaceful coexistence between farmers and farm dwellers. We are that there is a trend of lack of policing or biasness by the police against farm workers, and this is going to be attended swiftly. We hold a view that those who abuse farm workers must face the full might of the law. Those who attack farmers must be brought to justice equally. The police must do their work without fear or favor and not take sides as it concerned in the area of Gladstock, where we were last week. The acting MEC for community safety to attend to the role of the police in allegation of perpetrating human rights, of violating human rights in Gladstock. Kuthulekile ngesikhathi sikhuluma ngoku-abuse kwama-farmers, sekuyaphawuleka. To monitor the provision of frontline services, the Office of the Premier conducted an unannounced visit to 22 sites during the last three-quarters of 2020 and 2021. These were schools, clinics, hospitals, social development offices. The findings we got are, with regard to education, we identified lack of scholar transport, poor ablution facilities, shortage, and minor repair challenges. With regard to social development, we identified insufficient working tools, which include the office space or consultation room, vehicles, computers, and the need to improve administrative efficiency. While on health, we identified lack of proper isolation room for outpatients, no hospital managers in some cases, and damaged hospital infrastructure. All of these issues were directed to relevant department for remedial actions. We were pleased to note that in all offices and in all schools, there was full compliance with COVID-19 preventative measures. We will continue with Operation Sihle even during 2021. Madam Speaker, the need to develop the capacity of the state is best demonstrated with regard to diminishing poor audit outcome within KwaZulu-Natal. We were deeply concerned by regression recorded by the province in the previous audit cycle. In response to this, we instituted Operation Clean Audit. We have demanded accountability for irregular expenditure in each department and relevant consequence management procedures. Consequence management must be visibly proved. As part of our turnaround strategy, an audit improvement plan was implemented under the supervision of the provincial treasurer. We have identified constraints that lead to poor audit performance. The 2020 and 2021 audit process have shown improvement, but we have not yet reached our target, and we will continue to ensure accountability and full implementation of audit outcomes. A professional, meritocratic, and ethical civil servant is important to safeguard the citizens' interest. In this regard, we have already embarked on a series of initiatives to build capable state and instill professionalism in the public service. These include the adoption by the Executive Council of the HR turnaround strategy that is intended to bring a total transformation to our public service in the province and develop a cadre of civil servants that is capable, diverse, and well-trained. The adoption of operational management framework that is meant to enhance productivity within the department. We would want to stop this thing of saying the private sector is more productive than the public sector. We want to see best performing professionals. In 2020, the provincial administration embarked on skills audit project for all 190,000 employees in the employ of the provincial government. The skills audit aims to undertake an analysis of the available skills to develop a centralized database of available skills and determine the gaps. We have already completed the first phase of this project, and the first phase included senior managers in all departments, and those are DG, HODs, DDGs, and chief directors. We're now moving to the middle and lower level doing assessment of skills. Through the Provincial Public Service Academy and working with the National School of Governance, we are rolling out a series of training programs. Some are compulsory for our government employees. With regard to lifestyle audit, we made an undertaking to facilitate the process of undertaking the lifestyle audit by all members of the Executive Council and SCM officials in the first phase. We wish to update the House that we did approach the State Security Agency and South African Revenue Service with a view to assist in this regard. We were advised via correspondence that the state security is finalizing certain protocol in this regard. And as the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we are committed to leading from the front in undertaking the lifestyle audit. We are confident that once the process is concluded, this will start. Honourable Speaker, allow me at this juncture, and as we conclude, to convey my deep sense of gratitude, starting by thanking all members of the Executive Council, firstly for their unwavering support as we work together to create a South Africa that is united, non-racial, non-sexist, just and prosperous. But also to thank them for their dedication in their department and in the call of serving our people. A special thanks to His Majesty, Indlunkulu yonke, amakhosi, led by usihlalo wendlu yamakhosi inkosi uChiliza, for their wise counsel to me personally and to our Executive Council. And as we thank amakhosi, we must say we have cemented a good relationship with traditional leaders under the leadership of the MEC for Kokta, MEC Hlunga. Equally, we wish to pay tribute to all members of this provincial legislature for their sterling oversight work, and we commit to remain accountable and transparent. Thanks to the leadership of all KwaZulu-Natal structures of business, labor, civil society, who are working with government to improve the lives of our people. We want to thank the Director General of the province, Dr. Nonhlanhla Mkhize, HODs, the Premier's advisors, and the public servants. And to our public servants, we say, you are at the call phase of accelerating the tempo to give a better life to all people of the province. May I take this special occasion to thank my better half, Mrs. Sihle Zikalala. Thank for your love, support, and encouragement. That's why I thank her. I thank her because even after ukhawulishwa kanje, mangifika ekhaya, that's where I get joy and everything. Finally, and as way of conclusion, I wish to thank the African National Congress, the liberation movement of the people of South Africa, for its continued trust in me to serve as its deployees. But I wish to thank the ANC leadership for continued support throughout the previous year and even now. We affirm that ours is liberation of our people, in particular those who were at the receiving end of the apartheid system. Fellow compatriots, we stand at a stark moment in history. COVID-19 has made our people weary with despair. Our economy has never known such devastation. But hope must spring eternally. Like in our struggle against racial oppression, hope and history must again realm. Let us mobilize our finest resources and energies to hurry to the front line of rebuilding our society and economy. There is an important role for every one of us, the public servants, the business, civil society, traditional leaders, religious leaders, to quicken the tempo in economic recovery and job creation. The directives and targets we have laid out today must be monitored on a weekly basis. Where we come short, there must be immediate corrective actions and measures. Where we succeed, we must celebrate those advances. We have learned that time is not a luxury available to us. Time is now. The tempo must quicken. The hope and expectation of our people must be kept alive. There is work to be done, and be done now. Let us roll up our sleeves and get our shoulders on the wheel. The time is now. Even though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we fear not. May God bless Africa, South Africa, and the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Together, let's grow KwaZulu-Natal. And Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Premier. Now we will go to announcements. Secretary?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I make the following announcements. All guests must stand when the Speaker adjourns the House and remain standing until the procession leaves the chamber. Due to COVID-19 regulations and compliance requirements, members and guests are kindly advised that there is no lunch prepared except for snacks, which will be served at both members' tea and dining areas. Guests will be assisted by the Legislature Protocol team to areas where snacks will be served. There will also be no photo session due to social distancing. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Thank you, Honourable Premier, once more. Thank you, honourable members of the House, the public who have connected and joined us today from the luxury of your homes, our friends from the media, the few that we allowed in our gallery. We want to thank all of you for understanding that due to the current pandemic, we have to carry our business in the manner that we have done so. But our most appreciation goes to you, Mr. Premier, for cooperating with us when we had to cut your guests and your stakeholders so that they can all not attend. Together with the members of this House, who are all others sitting at home, not joining us, because we are committed to not and contribute to the government effort to fight the spread of COVID-19. With that, we have come to the end of business today. The House is adjourned until Tuesday, the 2nd of March 2021, where we will meet again in a hybrid mode to debate the State of the Province address. Thank you.
Order, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, Amanda. Yahlupha unzwana.
Umfowenu ubonakalanga ke namhlanje Amanda.
Yaphiphi.
Banomxelele uyakwazi ukucula.
Wehlomsini ulalela ukukhuluma usembhedeni.
Amanda, I'm trying. Hi Amanda. Honourable Maggie.
Hello. Ukudelela.
Hello. Pipi.
Uqibotha umbhedeni.
Yes.